Hey, good day, folks. Welcome to another episode of Andrew's Life. On this video, I will be driving through the city of Springhill, Tennessee. Now, this is one of the fastest growing cities in the mid-Tennessee state area. I mean, I had a, I mean, I dated a couple of women that used to live out here in Spring Hill back in the mid 2000s when I first moved to Tennessee. And I remember when Spring Hill was nothing. I remember when Spring Hill was basically a small blink of an eye town. You know what I'm saying? When you're driving in the country, it seems like you go through a small town, and if you blink an eye, you'll miss it completely. Well, that's kind of how Spring Hill used to be back in the mid 2000s. The very first time I came into Spring Hill was back in 2005. And back then, this town was incredibly spread out. I mean, I think back in 2005, the population was like 7,000 people or something. But this town was very spread out. It was extremely rural. In fact, this town barely even had streetlights back then. I mean, it was like dark as dark can be when you're driving through the town. And in business wise, if I can remember correctly, back then you had like the Waffle House for grocery. You had the Waffle House, and you had the Waffle House. Maybe you had a McDonald's or something of that nature. You had what else did you have? For shopping, you had the Food Lion, and you also had Dollar General, and you had a few small mom and papa type businesses throughout the city as well. And for the most part, that was all you had in Spring Hill. And see, during those times, if you lived out in Spring Hill and you needed to get a lot of your stuff done, like when it came to amenities, a lot of people used to have to either drive into Columbia or they had to drive up north into Cool Springs / the Brentwood Franklin area for more and better amenities. As we're now, everything that you need is in Spring Hill, even to include employment opportunities. Now, I forgot to mention this on my last video that I made when I made my Columbia, Tennessee video. But the biggest employer in this area is going to be your General Motor plant. I mean, it went through so many transitions. I mean, like back in the mid 2000s, it used to be the Saturn plant. Then it was something else. Then it went back to the Saturn plant. But I believe to this day, the plant still produces parts for GM. So if you're moving to this part of Tennessee and you're looking for a decent paying job opportunity, and maybe you may not have a whole lot of education, you might want to check out the General Motors plant. And then, of course, if you drive a little further north in Franklin, they got the Nissan plant. So, there's plenty of jobs in this area. I mean, I would say within a half hour of Columbia or a half hour of here in Spring Hill, there's a plethora of employment opportunities. And there's a whole bunch of blue collar opportunities too for those of you that are not college educated. So, you know, so I guess what I'm trying to say is if you move here and you're not working, it's because you don't want to work. And for those of you that are looking at moving around here, I mean, obviously you do not have to worry about not being able to find work. You move around here, in my humble opinion, your biggest concern is going to be to find affordable housing. But finding work, that'll be no problem. I mean, if you want to work 3 jobs, you can probably find 3 jobs all in the same day. I'm just saying. And just judging by some of these housing prices, you might need 3 jobs. That's precisely the reason why I don't live around here. As much as I like this part of Tennessee, I'm just not willing to work that hard and pay all that money for housing. No, thank you. But for those of you that make better money, for those of you that are higher educated, for some of you successful entrepreneurs that have that money, this is hands down a wonderful place to move to and live. I just can't afford it. So, anyhow, like I said, I moved to Tennessee in the mid 2000s. The first time I came into Spring Hill was back in 2005. So, as of the 2020 census, as of the 2000 census. No, let me back up here. I just want to give you guys a mental illustration of how fast this city grew. Back in 1990, you couldn't even call this a city. Back in 1990, this was a town. You can see in 1990, the population was 1,464 people. And then by the 2000 census, so within 10 years, the population then grew 427%. The population went from 1,464 people all the way to a whopping 7,715 people. And then by the 2010 census, so from 2000 to 2010, the city done grew another 276%. Man, that shit is crazy. So in 10 years, the population of this city went from a little under 8,000 people all the way to a whopping over 29,000 people. 29,036 people to be exact. And now from the 2010 census to the 2020 census, the most recent census we have for population growth and all that. This city done grew damn near 50% of its growth. This city damn near done doubled its population in 10 years. Back in 2010, you had just a little over 29,036 people. And then in 2020, the city done grew to 50,005 people. So percentage-wise, during the 2020 census, the city done grew by 72.2%. So that's why I say this is one of the fastest growing cities in the state of Tennessee. Now, I could be wrong. There could be other communities that may have grown way more percentage-wise. But, I talk about Spring Hill the way I talk about Spring Hill because I remember when Spring Hill was just a small hole in the wall type of town that just happened to be between the northern Williamson County area and Murray County. So I remember when Spring Hill used to be a rural community. You know what I'm saying? And to see Spring Hill like this, it's like, damn, it's like, that's crazy. Spring Hill is a whole city. Back in the day, you couldn't even call it a city, it was more of a town. Back in 1990, it wasn't even a larger town. It was a small town. So I just wanted to read those numbers out just to illustrate the growth and all the different transitions that Spring Hill has been through the last 30 years, the last 40 years. Because even when I look at the census back in 1980 to 1990, see, in 1980 the population was a little under 1,000 people. So as of the 1990 census, the town at that time, Spring Hill, then grew by 48%. So, so for those of you that are looking to move to Spring Hill, and you're out here, you're driving around, you're taking care of business, and maybe you might notice a lot of people driving slower than they should, and at the very last minute they might take a turn, and you're like, what the hell, they didn't even cut on the signal and they just abruptly turned to wherever. Understand that Spring Hill is a very fast growing city. Spring Hill is one of those type of cities to where there is a lot of change going on. There's a lot of development going on at a relatively short period of time. So there's going to be a lot of people. There's even going to be people that are from Spring Hill, grew up in Spring Hill, and still don't quite know where the hell they're going because of how much and how quickly this city done changed. As I drive around this city, you got whole entire communities that back in the day used to be woods. You got whole entire business sectors that again used to be woods. Like as this video progresses, you're gonna see a lot of newer houses. And I can tell you guys, a lot of these newer houses have been built within the last couple of years, give or take. And there's other houses you're going to look at that may have been built within the last 10 years. And bear in mind, back in the day, back in the mid-2000s, when I first came to Spring Hill, all that used to be woods. It was either woods or it may have been someone's farm. Alright folks, let me switch gears just a little bit here. I'm just kind of bringing up the data as I talk because I ain't feel like writing nothing down, so I'm getting tired, so I'm just kind of bringing up some data as I speak about this city. Give me 1 second. Alright folks, here's some basic information about Spring Hill. The population of Spring Hill is 46,152 people. And the city, like I said before, the city has grown by 41.6% as of the 2020 census. And the median home price here is at $383,000. And I'm gonna probably say, if you're looking to buy anything decent here, if you can't even find anything, I'm gonna look it up in a second here, but this is off the top of my head, you're gonna probably need a bare minimum of $400,000 if you want to live here in Spring Hill. You're gonna probably need a bare minimum of $400,000. Now, in Spring Hill is located. Spring Hill is actually located in 2 different counties. Like, I would say some of Spring Hill is located in Murray County, and then you got some of it that's located in Williamson County. So those are the two counties that the city of Spring Hill is located. And off the top of my head, Spring Hill is going to be roughly 35 minutes south of Nashville. Now that's 35 minutes with smooth flowing traffic. Now, if you're leaving Spring Hill, if you need to go to, if you live in Spring Hill, and let's say your job is in Nashville, I would say, depending on what side of Nashville that your job is located, you might want to allow at least an hour to get to work. And once you get off of work, depending on what time of the day you get off of work, you might want to allow, you might want to allow an hour to get back to your house, because during rush hour, Interstate 65 is going to be a parking lot. So if you're going to live here in Spring Hill, just bear that in mind. And even when you get into Spring Hill during rush hour, I mean, you know, the traffic here in Spring Hill is going to be relatively busy too, because Williamson County has got some of the busiest traffic next to Nashville itself. So I would say maybe, in fact, let me look it up real quick. Well, I'll look it up in a minute. Let's look up the crime here. See what the crime is talking about. Alright, well, for crime, the crime data is typical suburban type stuff. Both your violent and property crime are well below the national average. Your violent crime is only half of the national average. And your property crime is, again, actually less than half the national average. So your crime is extremely low in both of those departments. Look at, let's see. Now, as far as the racial makeup of this city, oh, and by the way, just as a side note, well, never mind. Well, anyhow, let's talk about race for a minute. You got 84.3% white, you got 4.3% black, and you got 1.9% Asian, and you got 6.9% Hispanic. And all the other races that live in this city, all the other ethnicities that live in this city, are less than 1%. So let's look at how long it takes to get from Spring Hill to Nashville. Let me look it up real quick. Now, off the top of my head, if it's on a clear day, not a whole lot of traffic, not a whole lot going on, you're looking at least 35 minutes. But I would say during the weekday, especially during rush hour, I would say allow a minimum of an hour to get to Nashville. An hour each way. An hour to Nashville if you're in Nashville, an hour to get back home if you're gonna live here in Spring Hill. I'm gonna Google it real quick and see how accurate I am. Spring Hill, Tennessee to Nashville, Tennessee.
Nashville is 34 minutes from Spring Hill by car in light traffic.
Yeah,
Here are your directions.
Yeah, I was real close. They talking about 34 minutes. So I was real close. Okay, I'm going to go to realtor.com and see what the housing market look like in Spring Hill. Alright, folks, I see one house that's available. It comes with a half an acre, 880 square feet. It's located on Alex Drive, and they're asking $249,000. And honestly, I did not expect to see that. Now, the house has been on the market for 77 days. And, I'm not going to read everything, but let's see. It looks like it's some type of an investment property. Most likely, if you buy that particular house, it's going to need some work. Now, the next house that's available is priced at $340,000, and it's located on Birdie Drive. That is Birdie Drive. And basically, it's kind of like it's a condo. I think they're condos. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,729 square feet. And from the looks of the pic, I'm going to assume they're condominiums that happen to come with a 1-car garage and a driveway. Or as they would call them in the Northeast, they're roadhouses. Except they're a little nicer. So yeah, I would say if you're looking to live in Spring Hill, I told you guys you would need at least $400,000. Well, you know what? If you have at least if you have at least $350,000, you'll be in luck. Now, here's the catch. Now, with a lot of your condos, there's going to be an association fee. Like, let's see here. Here's a townhouse that I pulled up. You're not going to be able to see it on your screen because I'm not doing all that. But here's a townhouse which is located on Soaring Eagle Way, which is here in Spring Hill. They're asking $345,000. The property was built in '08, on the market for 21 days. It comes with a 1-car garage. Let's see. See if they list the association fees here. Now, the property does appear to be in relatively decent condition, as it should be for that price. Looking for where they might list the association fee. Now, just by looking at this particular ad, it doesn't look like they list the association fee. But I'm gonna just go ahead and guess off the top of my head that, let's see, well, they have no HOA fee, which, quite frankly, I find that hard to believe, because most condominium communities have some type of a HOA fee. So they don't have their HOA fee listed, but I wouldn't get excited about that, because 9 times out of 10 they do have a HOA fee for those type of developments. I can't see where they put it in the ad. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a guess. And if you buy a property like that, I would say at the bare minimum, be prepared to pay a couple $100 a month for an association fee. I mean, I could be wrong, and maybe there's no association fee for those units, but I'm gonna say be prepared to pay at least a couple $100 a month. Of course, in addition to your mortgage and everything else. I'm gonna let's see if there's any other pieces of information that I might be missing. Oh, let's see here. Let's see what you're going to pay for rent. Now, if you're looking to rent something here in Spring Hill, your median rent prices are going to go from $901 to $1,650 a month. So that's your rent prices. Okay, folks, now I'm going to give you my 2 cents about this city. Now, in my humble opinion, I'm a cheap ass, so you wouldn't catch me paying that kind of money for housing to live here in Spring Hill. But aside from that, I think Spring Hill is a nice suburban city. I mean, you're not far from Nashville. And provided that you are able to have a schedule to where you're not going to have to drive in rush hour traffic, I would say allow a bare minimum of 45 minutes to get to Nashville from here, and 45 minutes to get home from Nashville. Bare minimum. Obviously, if it's rush hour, then I would say an hour. If there's an accident or if the weather's crappy, then it could be longer than an hour. So, but I would say, for the most part, you're not far from Nashville. And if you don't want to go all the way into Nashville, well, you're not far from the Cool Springs, Franklin / Brentwood area. You're like maybe 20 minutes away or so from, let me see. I want to give you guys accurate information here, so we're going to do something here. Spring Hill to Franklin, Tennessee.
Franklin is 20 minutes from Springhill by car in light traffic.
So
Here are your directions.
So yeah, you're only 20 minutes away from Franklin, which I believe is the largest city in the Williamson County area. So you're close to the bigger cities. Is what I'm trying to allude to. And Spring Hill in itself has got decent amenities. And plus, you're right by Columbia. Now, I remember back in the day when Columbia used to be bigger than Spring Hill. Like I told you earlier in the video. People that lived here in Spring Hill during the mid 2000s used to go into Columbia for everything. Now, Spring Hill has outgrown Columbia. I mean, Spring Hill has outgrown Columbia by over 8,000 people. I mean, there's certain type of stores that you'll find here in Spring Hill that you're not going to find in Columbia, because the demographic of people that live here in Spring Hill make more money than people that live in Columbia. Like, for an example, you might have people in Columbia that are super health conscious and they don't mind spending a little extra money on groceries. So they might drive into Spring Hill so they can go shop at Publix. I mean, if I can remember correctly, I don't think there's a Publix in Columbia. But I know for a fact there's a Publix here in Spring Hill. And there's certain type of restaurants that are going to be here in Spring Hill that are not in Columbia, which, again, people from Columbia will drive here to Spring Hill to go to those places. In fact, I remember, I think it was back in 2008, where I was kind of strapped for money, so I took on a second job, and I took a job here in Spring Hill working for Old Charlie's. Now, I got a job at Old Charlie's back before Old Charlie's was even open for everyday business. The Old Charlie's here in Spring Hill, that is. Now, I didn't stay there for real long. I stayed there for maybe a few months, and then after a few months I quit because I got burned out, because I was working between that job and my regular job. I was working like crazy hours. I was working like 70 plus hours a week, and I just got burned out, and my health began to suffer, so I quit Old Charlie's. But I remember I got a job at Old Charlie's, and I was working there. I was working as a dishwasher person, and I was working there before the place even. I mean, I'll just say it like this: I was working there before the place opened up for a regular business. We did what was called, I guess you can call it, a trial run, to where basically Old Charlie, they ran that restaurant as if it was a regular day. The difference was the people that came in were a bunch of guests that I'm assuming were selected by Old Charlie's to come in. So we would serve these people, and it was on a practice run type of deal, and these people would rate our service. Like, was the food hot? Was the building clean? Were the dishes clean? Was the service good? That type of stuff. And we did the practice run, if I can remember correctly, we did the practice run for about a couple of weeks before Old Charlie's here in Spring Hill finally opened up for regular business. So yeah, I remember working for Old Charlie's back before it opened up for regular business. And that was back in 08. So yeah, anyhow, in my humble opinion, I think Spring Hill is a wonderful place and a solid place for someone with the right kind of money to reside. Obviously, if you don't mind a little bit of traffic and you have a minimum of $350,000 for a house, or you have at least, I'm gonna say, probably $800 a month for rent, that would be at least $800 a month for rent. Then this city is not a bad place to live. I mean, like I said, you're close to Nashville, and you're also in close vicinities to other cities like Columbia, Franklin. But yeah, I can't think of anything negative to say about this city. There really isn't. The only negative thing I can say about this city would be the same thing I would say about many places here in Tennessee. And that is housing prices are expensive as hell. At least to me they are. And I'm pretty sure to the native Tennessean they are. But other than that, I don't really have anything bad to say about this city. I think this is a solid place to live. It's well built. You have all your amenities here that you need. You're close to a lot of stuff. You're close to Nashville. And so if you're looking to live a suburban life in the southern, if you're looking to live a suburban life in southern Nashville, if you're not able to afford to live in Brentwood or in Franklin or Cool Springs, then obviously, come down here to Springhill and check it out. Because the housing prices in Franklin are going to be even more expensive. And then you go into Brentwood and Cool Springs, it's going to be even more than Franklin. So yeah, if you got a little bit of money, but don't want to, if you, can't even talk. So yeah, if you're looking to live the suburban life here in greater Nashville, and you don't want to drop $1 million for a house or something insane like that, then Spring Hill's got your back. So come down here, check it out. Alright folks, that's all I gotta say about this city. I'm gonna let you guys enjoy the rest of the video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, consider doing that, because I will be putting out a lot more content. There's a lot coming your way, so bear that in mind. I still have a lot of videos to put out from the trip I made a couple of weeks ago. And give me some thumbs up, help with the YouTube algorithm. I would heavily appreciate that. And as always, I thank every last one of you for doing what you do, because without you guys, I wouldn't be able to have a channel. So, alright folks, until the next time, y'all have a blessed one. And I will see you on the next one.